What is going on, guys? Before I start with today's video, just want to let you guys know that these new Greico fishing hats, I've got a limited supply of these available. You guys have seen me wearing these in the past couple of videos and kind of had a few of them made last year but didn't really sell them, gave them away to a few people, but got a limited supply of these hats right here for sale right now. Let me show you guys the different color options. So we've got this one's pretty much a blacked out version. Then we've got a navy blue with a gray. We've got a khaki and white, and then we've got a navy blue and white. And as you can see, these are Richardson 112 truckers. In my opinion, these are the best hats out there. They always fit nice and comfortably. It's that adjustable style, got the breathable back. And then of course we've got this blue, and it's actually like a khaki on the side with the letters in khaki as well to match it. So this is a really cool color. I've really been liking this hat right here. So like I said, guys, limited supply of these hats. I just have a couple of each color. So if you guys are interested in one of them, shoot me a DM or a message on Facebook. My Instagram is CGREIC Fishing. Facebook is just Christian Greico. And I'll shoot you all the details over on how you can grab one of these hats. I've had a few people asking me, so go ahead and send me a message. I guess if you're not on social media, just shoot me an email, cgreicofishing@yahoo.com, and I'll link all of this down below so that you can contact me, my Instagram, my Facebook, and my email. So if you guys are interested in one of these hats, reach out to me and we'll get you taken care of on that. Okay guys, so for today's video, we are going to be talking about some unique hooks that have been coming out to the market. As you guys know, obviously forward-facing sonar has really been taking over the bass fishing world. Whether you like it or not, it's just how it is. People are catching them that way, and the fish are seeing a lot of different baits. So a lot of unique different hook styles, fishing styles are starting to come out kind of to cater to that forward fishing sonar type fishing, and also just to fish these pressured fish. There's so many guys out here fishing nowadays. All these lakes are just filled up with boats. You can go during the week and the boat ramps are filled. The weekends are even worse. So as fishermen, we're starting to have to figure out different ways to catch these fish. And I just received a package from Core Tackle, and these guys have come out with a lot of kind of interesting hooks and jig designs, like I was talking about, kind of little unique things that maybe people aren't throwing out there. So this one's pretty unique right here. This is the Ozark rig, and then of course what Core Tackle is known for is that hover rig. And then we've got the tush hook from them, which is a swim bait hook, but it can also be used kind of as a damiki hover kind of style. I'll show you guys in a minute here a couple different ways to rig these up, but there's a couple unique ways that you can use this other than just a swim bait. And then we've got somewhere in here, oh, here we go, that's their weedless hover rig. And then there's an HD hover rig. I don't think that one's it, but somewhere in this package there's an HD hover rig. Is that the HD? Oh, okay, here it is. That's the HD, or the flipping hover rig. So that one's got a bigger hook in it, a bigger weed guard, and this one's made more for creature baits. So let me show you guys how to rig these on some different baits to kind of see how they look like. And then I'm just kind of organizing them into this Bass Mafia box. This is my, pretty much it's turned into my Core Tackle box. As you can see, I kind of need a restock, so I think that'll pretty much fill the box up. But I got a few different hooks down here. So these down here are going to be my tush hooks. Up here are the hover rigs. Here are the weedless ones, Ozark rigs, and then somewhere along here I'll end up putting those HD flipping hover rigs. So let's show you guys a couple different rigging options here, because it's pretty cool the different ways that you can actually rig these up. Alright, so we are going to start with the hover rig, the most popular rigging option here from Core Tackle. This is what they're kind of known for. So what we're going to do is rig it up kind of damiki hover style. This is a little bait from Crocagator actually. And what is this one called? I honestly don't know what this one's called, but here's the packaging right here. It's a little minnow style bait. So let's grab our hover rig out of the package here, and I'll show you guys how to rig it. So you got your hover rig, you got your bait, and instead of going through the nose like that, like you would on a typical bait, you're gonna actually go through the head of it below the nose, and you thread it on up there, come out of the bait, and then so you've kind of got it like that, and you're just gonna slide it up, and then so you got it like that, and you got that point sticking out, and all you do is bring the head of that bait back, and then that weight will just dig right into the nose of it right there, and then you got your line tight up there, and that is your hover rig. So instead of a jig head coming out of the nose of it right here, like you would your standard Damiki rig, which is a very popular technique right now for forward-facing sonar, you've got more of the weight coming down the bait right here. So that bait, whenever you work it, it's just going to kind of go like that through the water column. The weight is going to be pretty lightweight. Let me see what size this one was. This one was a 3/32 ounce. So typically on your hover rig, this is going to be pretty light. So that bait is going to be really natural, just kind of slow sinking, and then just with a little bit of the rod tip, you kind of can bounce it around and kind of just get some really natural action out of that. So that's how you rig the hover rig. Pretty easy once you get the hang of it. I know it looks kind of weird. You're kind of looking at that hook thinking, well, how am I going to rig it up? And so that's how you do it. Just make sure you go in with the hook above the head, not through the top right there, and you get that perfect hover rig rigged up like that. Next, I'll show you guys a few different rigging options on this tush swim bait hook. So this one right here is going to be a little bit smaller. This is a 2/0 hook, 1/4 ounce, and we'll take, let's see what we got here. We'll take one of Guggen Bait's new slimmer swimmers, saucy slimmers, sorry. This is a new bait from Guggen, new swim bait that they just came out with. Grab one of these guys and rig them up. Also guys, if you go to the Guggen website, make sure you use my code. It's just Greico at checkout, and you can save 10% off. Grab you some of these new saucy swimmers. These things are pretty sweet. A couple different color options. This is the 4-inch. They also have a 3.5-inch. So let's see. That's gonna be our 2/0. That's probably a little bit small. That's probably gonna be a better hook for the 3.5-inch. So let's dig around for a bigger swim bait hook here. So here's a 4/0. That'll probably fit our saucy swimmer a little bit better here. Oh yeah, perfect. So you see, that'll end up being the perfect size right there. So on this one, this is going to be a bit more traditional of a rigging type situation. Go through the nose, thread it on up the bait, and then come out of the top. And on a swim bait, really anything, you always kind of want to make sure that you're right up there on the center so that bait tracks good. And then we're just gonna come up the weight, kind of, there we go. And there we are. Gonna work it, straighten it on out, and there's the swim bait, the new Guggen Saucy Swimmer, rigged up on the tush swim bait hook. Again, the weight is gonna be distributed on the swim bait, so instead of a typical jig head design where all the weight is going to be at the nose, it kind of distributes it so you get a little bit different action out of your swim baits. So that can obviously be used on forward facing sonar to cast at roaming fish, or you can just cast this in the grass, kind of over top of some submerged grass, slow reel it through timber, whatever. I mean, there's a ton of different options on that hook. Okay, so then we've got our bigger tush swim bait hook. This is the 7/0, and this is gonna work really good with a big swim bait like the Bass Mafia Dangerous swim baits. So these don't come rigged up. The loaded version is coming out soon. A couple different stores have them in stock right now, but if you just get the regular version, it comes unrigged. So you gotta figure out how to rig them yourself, which there's a couple different rigging options. Chris Aldane's got some videos out on some of the different rigging styles that he likes to use for these, but a good option is going to be our core tackle tush hook. So there's your swim bait unrigged. We've got our core tackle hook, a 7/0 hook, and we can rig this up. Check that out. That's how it's going to end up looking once it's all rigged up. So again, this is just going to be your pretty standard rigging. You're just going to go right through the nose of the bait. Actually, let's line it up so we know exactly where we're going to come out. So it's going to be just at the start of the fin. That way we get an idea of where we want to come out on the top here. So again, standard rigging. You're just going to go through, thread it through the bait, and then we want to come out just at the beginning of the fin here, and then we're just going to thread that hook right through. This bait is, there we go. Plastic on this bait is pretty dense, so it's gonna last for quite a few fish. There we go. There's our rigging with the Bass Mafia dangerous swim bait. So look at that, perfect. Comes out right there through the nose. You just tie it up right there, and you got that nice big 7/0 hook. And then what size was this swim bait that I just rigged up? This was a 1/4 ounce. So there's a couple different sizes depending on how deep a water you're fishing, but there we go. That is a perfect hook for rigging up these Bass Mafia dangerous swim baits. And then another thing that we can do with these hooks is, instead of using that hover rig, you can actually use a tush swim bait hook. So we've got our same little bait right here that we were using on the hover. You can use this tush swim bait hook to kind of get a different action that the fish have maybe never seen before. Kind of work it like a damiki. Let's see if that'll thread on up there. There we go. So check that out. It's almost like the hover rig, but with this tush hook, you can get a little bit more weight in the bait. And instead of a more natural fall, what this one is probably going to do, or what it does do with some rod action, is it's going to go side to side like that. So you can kind of like pop it and go side to side. And that tush swim bait hook, because it distributes the weight throughout it all the way down through the body, it's going to keep that bait down so that you can really do all of the action in the rod tip, kind of working it around through the water column. So two different ways to rig the tush swim bait hook, and then two different ways to kind of rig your little minnow baits. With the hover rig, that's going to be a little bit more natural presentation, and then with the tush hook, and that's going to be a little bit more aggressive of an action that you can work with this bait. Next up, we will take a look at the Ozark rig. So that's kind of a unique looking rig right there that the fish haven't really seen before. So this is our 4/0 3/16 ounce. We're going to take a Guggen Baits Kraken Craw. Again guys, if you head on over to the Guggen website, use code Greico for a discount. If you guys have watched my videos in the past, you know that I've done a lot of damage on Guggen Baits. I've won 2 major tournaments on Guggen Baits, so they're legit. Alright, so here is our Ozark rig. We can rig it up weedless. So just like you were going to rig up a Texas rig, you go through the nose of the bait like that, thread it on up, and then turn it around, and there you go. That's how it sits. So you would have your line already tied up right there, and then so it would be a little bit more streamlined here if we were tied up to line, but that's how it's going to end up sitting on the hook right there. So you've got all of the weight kind of down the hook right there, so that's kind of just going to have like a natural fall down like that. And then you can work, when you work it, these craws will start flapping on the fall too. Those claws will grab some water and kind of flap down as that bait kind of slowly sinks down, and it'll kind of do like that on the way down. Nice, slow, natural presentation. So you can skip that around docks, throw it around brush, all kinds of different options really with that one. So that is the Ozark rig. And then another kind of cool way to rig up a standard, maybe flipping, skipping, pitching type deal is going to be with the HD hover rig. So the hover rig's not only for these little minnow style baits, it can also be used with a crawl, which I'm about to show you here. So there you go. You can kind of tell that's a little bit more of a beefy setup. That hook is thicker. We've got a nice thick weed guard right there. Let's see what this size is. This is a 3/16 ounce with a 4/0 hook. So we will grab us another Kraken crawl here and rig it up. So it's going to be kind of the same rigging that we just did with our Damiki style bait, with our minnow style bait. We're going to go into the, not your standard Texas rigging technique to where you would go through the head. You're going to go just below it, and you're going to thread that hook, and then push that crawl up it, and then you kind of have this weird little deal right here, and you take the head, thread it up, and go back up through the head of it. Make sure that weight kind of digs in there so you're nice and streamlined, and then this is what you end up with right here. Could have done a little bit better job of rigging it up straight, but that would still work just fine. And there you got your HD hover rig. So, and that one's gonna be weedless. So this one, again, you can kind of pitch it around some cover, pitch it around docks, wood, maybe just the bank when they're up spawning. A lot of different options with this one, and it's going to be kind of a presentation that these fish have not seen before. So that's kind of your hybrid between the hover rig and an Ozark rig slash flipping rig right there with the HD hover. So as you guys can see, I mean, there's a ton of different rigging options with all of these hooks, and it's a lot of things that these fish have not seen before. So check this out. There's your different rigging options right there. Obviously you can kind of play around with different baits and kind of create your own different options there, and that's what we have there from Core Tackle. Bringing up a couple different Guggen baits, these little crocodigator minnows. So just figured I'd show you guys a couple different rigging options that I'll end up using throughout the year. I'm really actually looking forward to this Ozark rig. I got a couple of sneaky little ideas on how I can use this guy, especially around the pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn, when those fish are kind of moving up shallow. The docks, the trees are getting a lot of pressure. A lot of guys will be coming in and out of pockets. So that might be a sneaky little rig to kind of throw behind some people that have already been in some high pressured areas. But that is all for today, guys. Again, if you're interested in one of these Greico fishing hats, contact me on social media or via my email, and then check out these Core Tackle, these different hooks from them. I'll link them below. You can grab them on Tackle Warehouse. They're in all kinds of different retailers, or just go directly to their site at coretackle.com. But really looking forward to putting these to use throughout the season. All these different rigging styles, pretty cool stuff. Like I said, guys, there's so many people out there on the water trying these little bit different rigging techniques. Fishing techniques could really pay off in the long run here. So appreciate you guys tuning into this video. Again, if you want to pick up any Guggen baits, use my code Greico at checkout. Check out the links for Tackle Warehouse below. Those help me out too. Those are affiliate links. So if you guys click on those links and end up making an order from Tackle Warehouse, I get a little bit back and it helps support the channel. So appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.